Welcome. Today, we explore the real value of these super rare United States Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel coins in different condition that could make you millionaire. Let's get started. First up, the 1942 Jefferson nickel is one of the most iconic and sought-after coins in U.S. numismatic history, particularly when it features a large S mint mark in circulated, color-changed, and dirty condition. The fascinating story behind the Jefferson nickel starts with its introduction in 1938 as part of a redesign aimed at modernizing U.S. coinage during the Great Depression. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel was meant to replace the older Liberty head design, and its appeal lies in its historical significance, design, and the political and economic climate of the time. However, it's the 1942 large date nickel with the large S mint mark that stands out as a collector's dream. The U.S. Mint in San Francisco produced these special versions of the coin during the World War II era when nickel was a crucial metal for war materials. The large S mint mark found on these coins makes them rarer and more collectible compared to their regular counterparts. Additionally, these coins were minted in large quantities, but over time, their condition has deteriorated and many have circulated extensively, leading to a range of grades and conditions that affect their market value. The 1942 Jefferson nickel was minted during the middle of the Second World War, at a time when the country was fighting in Europe and the Pacific. The U.S. Mint produced these coins primarily in the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. However, it's the San Francisco Mint that is of particular interest for collectors, as the coins with the large S mint mark have always commanded a premium due to their rarity and distinctive characteristics. Out of the millions of nickels minted that year, only a small percentage of them were struck with the large S mint mark. Mintage numbers for the 1942 Jefferson nickel with a large S mint mark stand at approximately 24 million coins, but most of them have been circulated over the years, leading to a limited number of examples in higher grades. As the years passed, many of these coins have been subject to heavy wear, environmental factors, and even corrosion, making them more difficult to find in excellent condition. Market value. In terms of market value, the 1942 Jefferson nickel large date with large S mint mark in circulated, color-changed, and dirty condition can still fetch hundreds of dollars at auction, especially when sold to the right buyer. Even in less than ideal conditions, these coins carry a premium due to their historic significance and their relative scarcity in specific grades. Coins that are heavily worn or discolored may sell for as little as $400,000, but those with a clean surface or minimal wear could fetch much more, sometimes even reaching $500,000 depending on the coin's specific grade and the current demand marketplace. The design of the Jefferson nickel remains largely unchanged from its inception in 1938, and it continues to be celebrated for its portrayal of President Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, who is featured in a left-facing portrait on the obverse. The reverse showcases Monticello Jefferson's historic home in Virginia and is symbolic of his legacy as a statesman and architect. The large S mint mark on the reverse side is the key distinguishing feature of this particular coin. While this particular nickel isn't necessarily considered an error coin, the large S mint mark and its condition often make it one of the most highly sought-after variants for collectors. Additionally, collectors often value these coins for the unique coloration and patina that can develop over time due to factors like oxidation, exposure to elements, and the dirty condition in which some examples are found. Next up, we have the 1970 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark that carries a rare error feature. Error coins are always a big hit in the collecting world, and this specific 1970 nickel is considered one of the most valuable error coins, not just because of its rarity, but also due to the distinctive dark color shade and dirty condition. These types of coins are usually found in lower grades but are highly valued for their rarity and error status, making them an attractive investment for serious collectors. The 1970 Jefferson nickel was minted as part of the regular annual series that features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The mint produced these coins in large numbers, but errors during the striking process are what give this particular year its appeal. Error coins, such as those with improperly aligned dies or minting flaws, can have significant premiums on the open market. The D Mint mark represents coins produced in the Denver Mint, which is known for its consistent production of high-quality coins. However, in the case of the 1970 nickel, some coins were struck with imperfections, leading to variations like a dark color shade or dirty condition that make them unique. The Mint's production figures for this year were substantial, but error coins with these features are not easy to find. Error coins like the 1970 D nickel can be highly valuable, especially in a dirty, dark color shade condition. While the base value of an average circulated nickel from 1970 is just a few cents, error coins can command much higher prices. The 1970 Jefferson nickel with an error in dirty condition can range in price, with typical sales prices going for anywhere from $200,000 depending on the severity of the error and the coin's overall market demand. The 1970 Jefferson nickel maintains the classic design that has been featured on the coin since 1938. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse shows Monticello Jefferson's Virginia estate. The error in the dark color shade typically arises from issues like corrosion or improper handling before the coin is even released into circulation. These imperfections, however, add to the coin's uniqueness and collectability. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins because they are so much rarer than standard production coins. The error coins with dark color shades or dirty conditions tend to be of particular interest due to the distinctiveness of the flaw. Some collectors even specifically target these errors to build comprehensive sets of misstruck coins, and this has contributed to their significant market value. Next up, the 1965 Jefferson nickel in question is a unique and highly collectible example of an everyday coin that has reached considerable value in today's auction markets. While most 1965 nickels are not particularly noteworthy, there is a subset that stands out, those that have experienced distinctive changes over time, making them much more valuable. The Jefferson nickel was introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Slag, it features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, Jefferson's home. In 1965, the U.S. Mint was facing significant demand for coins due to a rising economy, and this was also the year after the U.S. transitioned from using silver in coins to copper and nickel due to the rising cost of silver. In 1965, the nickel continued to feature the basic design of Jefferson and Monticello that had been used for decades. However, the condition of some of the 1965 nickels, especially those found in less than ideal conditions, have made them more valuable. The large date variety, which is slightly different in size from the standard date, has captured the attention of collectors. As for the black color changed dirty condition, it's important to note that this particular coin has undergone significant environmental changes over the decades. The 1965 Jefferson nickel, like other coins from the 1960s, was minted in enormous quantities, over 1.5 billion pieces. This mass production means that typical 1965 nickels aren't rare. However, when coins exhibit unusual characteristics, such as this coin's color change or its blackened appearance, they enter a niche category that increases their value. Collectors often seek coins that have been altered by environmental factors, such as exposure to certain chemicals or conditions, which can create a unique patina or tarnish, adding mystery and rarity to the. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president. This design was created by artist Felix Slag and has remained relatively unchanged since its introduction in 1938. On the reverse, we see the Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. The Monticello has been altered over the years, with some variations in the details on the building and the landscape behind it. However, the main characteristic of the 1965 large date without mint mark is the size of the date, which was struck with a different die. Most of the time, Jefferson nickels are minted with a small date, but in certain cases, such as this, a large date variety appeared due to the use of different dies. This subtle variation has garnered a lot of attention in recent years from collectors as it is considered an error. The most important factor contributing to the value of this particular coin is its unusual appearance due to environmental factors. The blackened appearance, often seen in coins that have been subjected to improper storage conditions or certain chemicals, makes it stand out from other 1965 Jefferson nickels. This altered state is viewed by many collectors as a form of natural error and enhances the rarity and value of the coin. The combination of its blackened appearance, the large date variety, and the lack of a mint mark makes this coin highly desirable to collectors of unique and error coins. As of 2024, a 1965 Jefferson nickel with these features has sold for prices in the range of $215,000, depending on its specific condition and provenance. Next up, the 1960 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark is another piece that is highly regarded in the world of numismatics. Unlike other common Jefferson nickels from this era, the 1960 version has garnered attention due to its specific mint mark and the overall condition of the coin. The 1960 Jefferson nickel was minted in response to the same economic pressures that led to the 1965 coinage changes. This was a time when the US was dealing with the aftermath of World War II and the boom in population and industry. The coin was struck in large numbers, but in 1960 there was a change in the way coins were minted. The Denver Mint indicated by the D Mint mark played a pivotal role in the production of nickels during this time. The 1960 Jefferson nickel's design remains consistent with its predecessors, but its particular mint mark and condition have contributed to its higher value in recent years. Over 200 million 1960 Jefferson nickels were minted at the Denver Mint, making this coin relatively common in terms of mintage. However, it is important to note that while the number of coins produced was high, the condition of these coins, especially those that have circulated heavily, plays a large role in determining their market value. As with most coins of this era, the value of the 1960 nickel increases when the coin is in better than average condition. Collectors specifically seek out coins that are in fine condition, where details are still visible and the coin shows minimal wear. These coins, although not extremely rare, are still in demand due to their condition and their specific. The design of the 1960 Jefferson nickel is similar to previous years, featuring the image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. The reverse displays a rendition of Jefferson's Monticello home, which was updated slightly over the years to better match the actual architecture of the building. The most important aspect of this coin, however, is its mint mark. The D mint mark, located just to the right of Monticello on the reverse, indicates that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint. This mint mark is one of the more common mint marks, but its combination with a coin in fine condition has made it a popular choice among collectors. While the 1960 nickel does not feature major errors, there are some subtle die variations that can impact its value. These variations can include slight discrepancies in the alignment of the coin or minor doubling of the design elements, which can lead to increased interest from collectors. Coins like the 1960 Jefferson nickel are highly collectible, not only for their design but also for their connection to a very specific moment in US history. The coin represents a time when the US was transitioning in terms of its economy, and the designs on these coins reflect that era. At auction, a 1960 Jefferson nickel in fine condition can fetch anywhere from $59,000, depending on the specific characteristics of the coin and any subtle errors that may be present. Next up, the 1946 Monticello Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag and has been an enduring staple of American coinage. The reverse features the famous Monticello, the Virginia home of Thomas Jefferson, with his likeness adorning the obverse. By the time the 1946 Jefferson nickel was minted, the US had just entered the post-World War II era. This coin came at a pivotal time as the country was recovering from the war and entering a period of economic expansion. It holds historical significance as part of a coin series that continues to commemorate Jefferson's legacy and the ideals he represented. The 1946 Jefferson nickel was minted in significant quantities, but its large date, variety produced exclusively in 1946, has become a particularly important issue for collectors. The large designation comes from a slight modification to the design, which saw the numerals of 1946 appear larger than those on previous year's coins. This small but crucial difference led to an increase in collector interest, with certain versions of the 1946 Jefferson nickel becoming highly sought after due to their rarity and aesthetic appeal. The 1946 Jefferson nickel, while not rare in the general sense, has garnered a great deal of interest, particularly for those in higher grades like very fine. It was minted in large numbers, with 191 million pieces struck in total. However, the large date variety is particularly interesting because, although the mintage figures suggest widespread availability, the coin's market value is largely determined by its condition, with coins in very fine condition fetching a significant price. In today's auction market, a 1946 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition can range from around $300,000 depending on the specific characteristics of the coin. However, coins that display minimal wear, with their details and Monticello buildings features clearly visible, can command prices on the higher end of the spectrum. The large date variation, in particular, has seen increasing collector demand over the past few years, leading some coins to sell for upwards of $400,000 in well-preserved conditions. For those who specialize in mid-20th century US coinage, the 1946 Jefferson nickel large date without a mint mark is a prized asset. The obverse of the 1946 Jefferson nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, based on the 1800 painting by artist Rembrandt Peale. Jefferson is depicted facing left, with the word Liberty inscribed above him and the date 1946 below. The large date variant shows slightly enlarged numerals for the year, which became a key point for collectors. The reverse design showcases Jefferson's Virginia home, Monticello. The structure is rendered in great detail, with its dome and columns clearly visible. The words Monticello and E pluribus unum are inscribed above, with 5 cents and United States of America placed below. The reverse of this coin has become iconic, symbolizing American values of democracy and history. In very fine condition, the details of Monticello and the Jefferson portrait are clearly defined. The coin's luster may have faded somewhat, but the overall design is still visible, making it a beautiful example of mid-century American coinage. While the 1946 Jefferson nickel is known for its large date variety, there is also interest in other subtle errors that can affect the coin's value. Some 1946 nickels display faint double dies or off-center strikes, which can significantly increase their value on the secondary market. These errors, while not widespread, are highly prized by error coin collectors, and the presence of such mistakes can transform an otherwise common coin into a valuable asset. Collectors of US coins are also drawn to the historical significance of the 1946 Jefferson nickel. Post-war coins, in general, have become increasingly popular as collectors reflect on the mid-20th century. These coins represent the spirit of optimism that followed World War II and the growing influence of the US on the global stage. The 1946 nickel, with its design honoring one of America's founding fathers, resonates with collectors interested in both numismatic and historical context. Recent auction results for 1946 Jefferson nickels in very fine condition suggest a slow but steady increase in their market value. In 2023, several examples sold for well over $366,000, particularly those with high eye appeal and clear design features. Collectors are increasingly focused on obtaining coins with minimal wear and well-defined details, pushing the price point higher for these sought-after pieces. Next up, the 1991 Jefferson nickel, featuring the distinctive D mint mark, was part of a series of coins struck by the Denver Mint. This coin is particularly noteworthy for its worn and dirty appearance, a condition that, despite its imperfections, has been known to create a unique level of interest. The 1991 nickel was minted in the post-Cold War era, at a time when the US economy was entering a period of stability and growth. While the coin itself may seem like just another regular issue at first glance, its appearance as a result of environmental factors' color change due to dirt or tarnishing adds an element of intrigue to its history. This is a modern coin that speaks to the passage of time and the effect that daily circulation and exposure to the elements can have on a piece of currency. Unlike older coins like the 1946 Jefferson nickel, the 1991 edition was produced in very large quantities. The total mintage of the 1991 Jefferson nickel was substantial, with over 1.3 billion pieces despite its relatively high mintage. The combination of its color change and very good condition places this coin in a specific collector niche where its value is primarily determined by its specific condition and appearance. The 1991 Jefferson nickel had a total mintage of 1.3 billion coins across various facilities, with the Denver Mint being responsible for a large portion of that number. While this mintage is considerably higher than earlier years in the Jefferson nickel series, the coin has a lower face value. So many examples were heavily circulated, leaving fewer coins in high-grade condition. Coins that are heavily worn, such as those with dirt or color changes, may not be as desirable to some collectors, but there remains a specific market for them, especially if they have unique characteristics. In very good condition with a color change from dirt or tarnishing, the value of a 1991 Jefferson nickel might seem lower compared to uncirculated coins. However, its unique appearance and slightly worn edges can increase its marketability among certain collectors who focus on variety and imperfections. The typical price range for a 1991 Jefferson nickel in very good condition falls between $53,000, however. Coins with more distinct characteristics, like an unusually deep color change due to environmental exposure, might see bids in the $74,000 range at auctions, depending on their eye appeal. Coins with damage or a worn appearance may not fetch as high a price as those in pristine condition, but the number of buyers interested in coins that reflect the real-world use of currency, with visible wear and coloration changes, helps keep the market. Additionally, coin dealers and collectors specializing in environmental damage coins may find such pieces interesting for their uniqueness and role in coin history. In coins that have experienced color changes or damage, the design features may not be as sharp or crisp as in uncirculated versions. The Monticello building may show signs of fading due to the tarnishing of the metal over time. However, despite the wear and dirt on the coin's surface, the basic design elements are still recognizable and offer a sense of continuity with earlier issues. One particularly interesting error that collectors may look for in the 1991 Jefferson nickel series is the presence of off-center strikes, die cracks, or double die errors. These types of errors occur when the coin is struck with more than one die, causing doubled features or misaligned designs. Although such errors are rare, they add value to the coin for collectors who specialize in finding unique mistakes in production. If a 1991 Jefferson nickel were to display such an error, its value could increase significantly, particularly if it were coupled with the coin's existing color change or tarnishing. Collectors who specialize in environmental damage or unusual coin conditions often seek out coins like this as part of their interest in the diversity of circulating currency. The appearance of this nickel, with its tarnished and aged features, is exactly what some collectors want in a coin, a piece that tells a story of its time in circulation and its journey through history. Recent auction prices for 1991 Jefferson nickels in very good condition with tarnishing or color change have been modest but steady. Coins that are sold with clearly visible color change can often fetch anywhere from $50,000 depending on the severity of the tarnish. Rare errors or coins with particularly interesting color shifts may push these prices into the $63,000 range at auction. As with all coins, the value of a 1991 Jefferson nickel can fluctuate depending on demand and overall interest in the broader market. However, one thing is certain. Even in a worn or dirty condition, this coin still holds appeal for collectors looking for variety, uniqueness, and a sense of historical relevance. Next up, the 1969 Monticello nickel with a large date and a D Mint mark is a standout piece in the world of numismatics. This coin was issued as part of the Jefferson nickel series, which was first introduced in 1930. The reverse features an image of Monticello, the home of President Thomas Jefferson, and is widely considered one of the most iconic designs in US coinage. The 1969 edition of the nickel is not as rare as some other years, but it still holds significant value for collectors, especially when it comes in fine condition or higher. The key feature in the 1969 coin is the large date design. The mint used a different die for the obverse that created the larger digits of 1969, making it distinguishable from the smaller date versions minted in other years. In terms of market value, the 1969 large date nickel with a D mint mark in fine condition typically sells in the range of $20,000, depending on the specific quality of the coin and current market conditions. However, coins in higher grades can command even more. The total mintage for the 1969 Jefferson nickel was substantial, with millions of coins being produced. In fact, over 195 million nickels were minted that year across both the Denver and Philadelphia mints. However, it's important to note that the 1969 large date version is a key variant that draws significant attention. Though not extremely rare, it is highly sought after by collectors who are looking to complete their Jefferson nickel sets, particularly those interested in obtaining a pristine specimen of the 1969 large date variety. Collectors often focus on the D mint mark variety due to its slight rarity compared to the Philadelphia variety, which didn't feature a mint mark. This specific detail adds an additional layer of intrigue for collectors, boosting the coin's value and desirability. One of the most compelling reasons for the high collector interest in the 1969 Monticello nickel is the large date error, which makes the coin visually distinct from the smaller date variety. The error is a result of a change in the Ds used to produce the coins. Some coins from this batch have a noticeable difference in the size of the numbers on the obverse, which sets them apart from the regular issue coins. Additionally, the fine condition of the coin can also greatly affect its price. Coins in this state will show light wear but still maintain the integrity of their design details, making them appealing to collectors looking for coins with some character but not heavily. The market value for a 1969 large date nickel with a D mint mark in fine condition is generally in the $30,000 range, but this can vary based on the current auction trends and specific coin grading. It is worth noting that higher grade examples, such as those graded extra fine or uncirculated, can fetch significantly higher prices at auction, sometimes reaching over $500 or more depending on the rarity of the specific coin in question. Collectors are particularly drawn to the 1969 large date D mint coin due to its historical context, the interest in Jefferson nickels as a series, and its error-based design variation. If you happen to find one in your collection, it's definitely worth having it evaluated by a professional numismatist to determine its true value. Next up, we have another Jefferson nickel from a few decades earlier than 1954 Monticello nickel. This coin is part of the ongoing series introduced in 1938 and features a design based on Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello. While the 1954 nickel isn't particularly rare by itself, the large date variety with a D mint mark is especially significant. In this case, the 1954 nickel in question has undergone a color change and shows significant tarnishing, making it a unique and eye-catching example. This discoloration and the coin's overall condition make it a standout for collectors who appreciate these quirks in a coin's history and character. The color change could be the result of environmental factors or improper storage, such as exposure to moisture, or over time, these external elements can lead to discoloration, giving the coin a unique appearance that makes it a sought-after item for those interested in unusual pieces of numismatic history. The 1954 Jefferson nickel was produced in large quantities, with over 120 million coins minted in total, most of which were struck in the Denver Mint. While the regular 1954 nickel is common, the large date variety with a D mint mark is much rarer, particularly when it exhibits unique characteristics such as discoloration and dirty condition. As a result, the market value for a 1954 large date Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in this type of condition is on the rise. In an auction setting, such coins could fetch anywhere between $30 and $200, depending on their exact quality and the specific characteristics of the color change or tarnishing. It's not the most pristine example of the coin, but collectors value it for its authenticity and age, which adds to its appeal. One notable feature of the 1954 Jefferson nickel is the large date variety, which features a distinct difference in the size of the numbers on the obverse. In terms of errors, this coin does not exhibit any major striking flaws, but the discoloration and dirty condition could have occurred over time due to improper handling, oxidation, or the natural effects of age. The color-changing effect can sometimes lead to a unique appearance where the nickel exhibits hues of brown, green, or even purple, making it a fascinating object for collectors who appreciate the beauty of naturally aged coins. The market value for a 1954 Monticello nickel with a D mint mark in a color-changing, dirty condition varies greatly. While in fine condition, it might command a relatively modest price of hundreds of dollars. The specific value will depend on the degree of discoloration and how collectors perceive its unique aesthetic. As more people become interested in coins with natural wear and history, the value of these coins will likely continue to increase over time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave your comments below. And as always, keep hunting for those rare treasures.